Have you ever walked into a room where no one says a word, but deep down you feel like everyone is sizing you up? And interestingly, some people command more respect through silence than others ever do with words. Not because they're cold, not because they're arrogant, and not because they're putting on an act. It's because they know how to truly be present. Why is it that some people don't need to talk much, yet everyone unconsciously takes them seriously?
A lot of people think respect means a loud voice, clever words, or always having something to say. But here's the reality. Sometimes talking too much doesn't build respect. It builds anxiety. The human brain can quickly tell whether someone is trying to prove themselves or whether they're simply existing. And those two things are worlds apart. Someone who constantly explains, defends, and justifies themselves is unconsciously sending this message to the other person's brain. Please accept me. But someone who is calm, speaks precisely, and isn't in a rush conveys stability instead of begging for acceptance. And human beings respect stability. Of course, not always. If you sit in a room like a statue and just stare, people will probably bring you a glass of sugar water instead of respecting you. So the point isn't to not speak. The point is that you don't need to speak to prove yourself.
There's a crucial psychological concept here. Our brains respond to something called confidence cues. This means that even before we understand what someone is saying, we judge how confident they are based on their pauses, body language, eye contact, and even their comfort with silence. People with low self-confidence usually fill the space with extra words because their brains are afraid of silence. Silence feels like a dark room to them, and they want to turn the lights on as fast as possible. But someone with real presence understands that silence itself can be a statement, a very respectable one. Respect doesn't come from trying to be seen. It comes from reducing your need to be seen.
The first step is this: move slower. Not lazy and sluggish, but slow and controlled. Someone who does everything hastily seems to be saying, "I'm anxious. Please take me seriously, quickly." But someone who walks calmly, sits calmly, and looks calmly unconsciously sends this message: "I'm not in a rush to prove who I am." This is really important because respect comes more from rhythm than from words. It's the same when you speak. You don't have to deliver every sentence at lightning speed. A small pause can sometimes be more powerful than 1,000 words.
Imagine two people walk into a room. The first one walks fast, smiles a lot, quickly explains that I'm a good person, and keeps saying, no, I'm fine. The second one walks in calmly, stands still, speaks only when necessary, and doesn't seem in a hurry to defend themselves. Most people will choose the second person because respect comes from not needing approval. People think to themselves, this person doesn't seem dependent on us, so they must have a real sense of self. The more you try to say, I'm so awesome, the less special you appear. It's like having, I'm awesome, please believe me, written on your forehead.
This isn't just about movement speed. It's also about body language. You don't have to stand like a utility pole, but your body should show calmness, not defensiveness. When shoulders are too hunched, hands are hidden, or eyes keep darting away, the other person unconsciously senses that you're in a weak position. On the other hand, when your body is more open and your gaze doesn't run away, the other person's brain processes you as more secure and trustworthy. This is what it means to have presence weight. People value someone who is quiet but firm more than someone who is loud but anxious, because anxiety always reveals itself.
Another common misconception is that to earn respect, you always have to be the strongest person in the room or win every argument. In reality, respect means having boundaries. Someone who has boundaries is clearly felt, even if they don't speak loudly. For example, when someone speaks to you rudely and you calmly say, "That tone doesn't work for me," that statement is more respectful than 100 screams. Because you didn't beg, you didn't start a fight, you just set a boundary. And that's exactly what people respect.
Remember, the more you talk, the cheaper your words become. People with real presence usually make fewer promises, swear less, and give fewer unnecessary explanations. Because the human brain is sensitive to scarcity. When something is abundant, its value drops. Words are no different. If every time you open your mouth a speech begins, the other person's brain will soon say, okay, this one's just like the rest. But if your words are few, precise, and well-placed, even your silence gains value.
In the end, real respect doesn't come from trying to attract attention. It comes from presence, from learning to explain yourself less and be more in control of yourself. Move slowly, speak firmly but calmly, have boundaries, and don't fear silence. Because when you free yourself from the need for others' approval, that's when others start seeking your approval. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.